Good evening, Hampton Roads. Welcome to another edition of Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm your host, certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, coming to you live like I do every second and fourth Tuesday of the month to dialogue with you, take your calls if you have a question or comment relating to your own personal financial situation, or want to jump in on the conversation on anything I'm talking about here tonight. Give us a call on the studio line. All we need is your first name, city you're calling from, and no matter what I'm talking about, if it's important to you, then it's important to me. We'll get you right on air. 627-7979. That's 627-7979. Wealthway Financial Advisors is the proud sponsor of Dollars and Common Sense. We are an independent registered investment advisor, which means we're legally held to fiduciary standard to put our clients' interests ahead of our own in any business dealing or recommendation that we make. And that's the way it should be when you work with a financial advisor. As the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. So by design, we can't work with everyone. We work with a relatively small group of high net worth individuals, but that's one of the reasons we feel so strongly about coming here every second and fourth Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's to reach out and help as many people in the Hampton Roads listening area that we can achieve your measure of financial success, because it is a core belief at Wealthway Advisors that the overwhelming majority of people in this country have the opportunity for financial security if they choose it. And it is a choice, because it takes some time, it takes some effort, and it takes some knowledge. We are here to help. You got to take that first step, though. Pick up the phone, give me a call, 627-7979, whether you want to talk about anything having to do with the investment markets, with the economy, insurance products like life insurance, health insurance, property casualty, taxes, tax planning, tax reduction strategies, retirement planning, retirement plans, 401k, 403b, TSP, 457, simple IRAs, mortgage options, Social Security claiming strategies, or estate planning, wills and trusts. All that and more falls under the umbrella of personal finance. We are here to discuss tonight. 627-7979. All right, tonight I come bearing 25 truths about money. Dun, 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 dun. So some of these are undeniable factual truths, and others are truths as I see them as they relate towards money. So let's jump in and start with the most universal of money truths, and that is money cannot buy happiness. And that is true. Money does not buy happiness. However, it can buy you a boat to pull up right beside happiness. That's an old joke.
It's true.
So money can't buy happiness. It can't buy true, meaningful, deep, content happiness, but it does make life easier. And there are plenty of people with a lot of money who are very troubled, tormented, and unhappy souls. So the idea that having more money is going to make you a more content, happier person is a path that will probably lead to a dead end. But money does make certain aspects of our life undeniably easier and more flexible, and it can take away stress and anxiety and provide peace and contentment in certain areas of our life. And there's a certain calm and silent strength that comes from knowing all the bills are paid and I've got an adequate emergency fund, and if some financial catastrophe befalls me, I probably have the resources to do it, to handle it, and then we have enough money to have a nice house and good clothes and a safe car to drive, and can even maybe take a little bit of decent vacations. All those things are part of what money does to make life easier. But all those things taken independently don't truly make one a happy person. Happiness comes from other sources other than money. Okay. How about earning power is your most valuable asset. It's not your house, okay? Not your bank account, not your brokerage account. Your earning power is your most valuable asset. Your earning power is your lifelong annuity of income that you can produce based on the fruits of your labor. And how much you work, how hard you work, how smart you work, the type of occupation you have, the type of field you enter, all those things combine to determine your earning power. And then, of course, as we enter the workforce and eventually grow our career, then hopefully there's some promotions along the way, more responsibility, perhaps entrance into management, managing people. All those things are very hard and complex and difficult to do. So they naturally come with higher rewards, higher salary. And the earning power that you have over your lifetime is the engine of your financial plan and your financial resources. Whether you have a formal plan or not, that is your engine. And what you do with your earning power goes a long way to determine how successful you are in building a solid financial foundation and growing wealth over time. So, while earning power is your most valuable asset, savings is even more important than your earnings. So, earnings power, your most valuable asset, but saving is even more important than your earnings, because it doesn't matter how much you make or how much you earn if you spend more than you bring in, right? If you make $100,000 a year, but you're spending 125 on stuff, then you aren't growing your net worth. You aren't building wealth. You're going into debt. And that's a condition that can only last for so long before it gets before something comes to a crashing halt. So you've got to capture a portion of that earning power, the earnings that you make over your lifetime, and you have to save it for future use, or save it for current use, current stability and future use, in order to build a solid financial foundation. So while earning money is your most important asset, you have to have the ability to save a portion of it in order to grow your money over time. And if you don't save it, then you run out of options as life churns on. So savings is more important than earnings when it comes to a truth about money. And then investing is essential for growing wealth. So it's one thing to save your money. That's good. That's step number one. Spend less than you earn, save the difference. But then you got to get that savings into something that will relatively predictably grow faster than the rate of inflation, to outpace the corrosive effects of inflation. And you do that by investing. So putting money in a bank is what we typically say is savings. And while that's better than nothing, that's not how you stay ahead of inflation long term. Most of the interest rates that you get in bank and bank assets, savings accounts, checking accounts, money markets, CDs, while they are stable in value, they typically grow, or you earn interest at a rate lower than the prevailing rate of inflation, usually. Not all the time, but usually. So you're not really growing your wealth over time by saving it in a bank. That's for transactional activity, paying the bills, and a safe storage for your emergency fund. But in order to use your money to build wealth, to grow wealth, to develop financial independence, you've got to invest it in vehicles that have a high probability of growing faster than the long-term rate of inflation. And that, in our world, typically means common stocks, equities, one of the easiest, most successful most beneficial forms of wealth creation that's ever been devised by mankind, if you do it right. So, investing is essential for growing wealth long term. All right. What else we got? Not all debt is bad debt. Say that a lot in this show. While most debt is either bad debt or something to be cautioned about, not all debt is bad debt. Really, it depends on the interest rate on the debt. And if you have a low interest rate, then that can be debt you can use as leverage to redirect your cash flow to higher earning investments elsewhere. So, for example, the most obvious one is mortgage rates. Most people right now, over the last decade or so, prior to 2023, might have probably enjoy a 30-year fixed rate mortgage that could be in the 4s, in the 3s, or even in the 2s. You can borrow somebody else's money, especially the banks, if you can borrow their money at 3% and then redirect that cash flow into your 401k plan that can grow at 7, 8, or 9%, you should do that all day long. And you take as long to pay back that 3% money as the bank will let you. And don't rush to pay it off. Okay, next one, financial success is 10% knowledge and 90% discipline. That means investor behavior has a lot to do with the success of the growth of your portfolio. It's one thing to know what to do and how to invest and where to invest, but it's another thing to actually do it, to start the process, and then to have the discipline to remain invested even when there's other competing forces for your money, or when it doesn't feel like it's a good time to invest because the market is declining and it feels like your money kind of is just eroding as you put it in there in the short term. And then that's when a lot of people second guess their decision making and start to panic and sell out and do the right thing. Financial success, 10% knowledge, 90% discipline. All right, got to pause right there, take a short break. If you want to jump in on the conversation, talk about some money truths that you are aware of, give me a call on the studio line, 627-7979. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense, News Talk 790 WNIS. And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president of Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized, ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, look us up online at wealthwayadvisors.com. All right, tonight we're talking about the 25 truths about money as determined by me. And we're down to about number 7 now. Budgeting is key to financial control. Yes, it is. Budgeting is key to financial control. However, you're not going to do it. Most people, say 99% of people, don't have a budget, don't want a budget, aren't going to stick to a budget, wouldn't follow it if it was handed to them and done for them. So let's not pretend that budgeting is a very useful financial planning tool. But I say that when it comes to budgeting in detail, one of the things that we do try to talk about with our clients or on the show is to have budget at a macro level. So just try to save a percentage of your gross income, 10%, okay? Pick a number. Start somewhere. 10% of your gross income, save it into your 401k plan, into an IRA, into a mutual fund, into a brokerage account, or something like that. Get a savings plan started and spend the rest. Okay, there's your budget. Very simple, very basic. And then over time, try to increase that starting percentage a little bit each year till you get around the 15, 16, 17% mark. And if you can do that, then you will eventually save enough money to duplicate your standard of living later in life based on your own financial resources and not having to work for somebody else. Time is often more valuable than money. That's very true when it comes to personal finance. It does not take a lot of money to one day have a lot of money if you have a lot of time. So what that says is, what that argues for is to start early when it comes to saving. So I got my first job, yay, got my first paycheck. Oh, where did all the money go? Oh, it got taken by taxes. Ha ha ha. Welcome to the real world. Not much left over. I can't pay my rent. I can barely pay my rent. I don't have enough gas for the car. I can't go out with my friends because I don't have enough money. All these competing interests when you're just starting out. You're getting that entry level salary. But even so, if you can just find a way when you get that first job and that first paycheck to save $25 or something like that to your company retirement plan, or even a bank savings account to start building an emergency fund, just start the habit. And if you get into the habit, like all habits, like exercise or good diet, as you build the habit, it becomes ingrained in who you are. It becomes easier over time to continue to maintain that habit. And with a lot of time, it doesn't take a lot of money to one day have a lot of money. Risk and reward are two sides of the same coin. Yes, you cannot have high reward in finance without high risk. Or you can have a high probability of low reward with low risk. They go hand in hand. So a difficult concept for most people to grasp because they often want the biggest reward you can, but that also means that you risk never achieving that high reward, that you can actually end up losing money instead of making a modest amount of money. So risk and reward, same, two sides of the same coin. Diversification reduces risk. Also a difficult concept for a lot of people to grasp, and it's a hard one for me to explain simply. But diversification across different investment vehicles reduces the potential for underperforming your expected rate of return. And that's about as technical as I want to get on that. But diversification across different investment vehicles is a good basic tenet of good portfolio management. Well, all right, here's one everybody knows. Inflation erodes purchasing power, especially lately here. 2000 end of 22 through 23 and into first part of 24. We're starting to see better numbers now from an inflation standpoint. It's still a little bit elevated compared to historical averages and certainly what we enjoyed to the prior decade where inflation was below trend, 1 and 2% per year. And then we eventually woke up to the shock of 8% and 9% inflation rates for a couple quarters there. So that was definitely a shock to the system. So that's why inflation erodes your purchasing power. It makes your current dollars worth less. That's why it's imperative, if you want to build and grow wealth over time, that you have to use investment vehicles that have a high probability of outpacing those corrosive effects of inflation. And like I said earlier, that does not happen with most bank assets most of the time. That's where we put our safe, stable emergency fund in the bank. That's where we pay our bills from. In order to grow our net worth and grow our wealth over time, that's where stocks come into play for most people. And there's certainly other investment vehicles, but it's the easiest, most accessible form of wealth creation that exists in the United States if used properly. Okay? And then Here's another one that I don't think I'm going to get any argument on. Taxes are most people's largest expense. Your largest household expense is made up of taxes: federal tax, state tax, Social Security taxes, city taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, taxes everywhere we turn. Nearly everything is taxed at some level. Even if it is an outright tax, there's usually a tax embedded in it, in the cost of it somewhere. So it is prudent to try to minimize taxes where you can, and we certainly do that throughout our practice and how we build investment portfolios to be tax efficient. But it is a reality under current tax code that in order to make money, earn money, grow money, you're going to pay some tax on it. And that's just a reality. So the goal for most people is to grow their net worth over time. In order to do that, you're going to have to pay some taxes along the way. So some people think that they're, if they can eliminate all their taxes, they eliminate all their problems. No, that's not true. I can do that for you. Just give away all your money or lose all your money and you won't have to pay tax on it. But that's not the name of the game. So taxes are a reality. Just be really efficient and mindful of how you structure your affairs to make them as low as possible. All right, got to pause right here for the news. Going to be back in just a few minutes. 627-7979. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.
Financial advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president of Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, you can look us up online at wealthwayadvisors.com. Once there, you can request an information packet to find out what it's like to work with us, or sign up for a free quarterly newsletter at wealthwayadvisors.com. Just go to the Request a Consultation page, put your name and address in the dialog boxes there, select the appropriate drop-down menu, and we'll get that information out to you later on this week. And that's all we will use your name and address for, is just to send you the information that you request. Or if you have some nuanced questions, want to speak to a live human being, give us a call at the office, 757-456-2200. Want to remind everybody, our next live show will be in 2 weeks on Tuesday, August 27th at 6 p.m. as usual. But if you can't catch us live every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, then get this show as a podcast. Search for Dollars and Common Sense wherever you get your podcasts. Download us, take us with you wherever you go, and listen at your convenience. And for those of you into social media, we have a presence on Facebook and LinkedIn. Hit that like or follow button, and usually about once a week we put up an interesting and informative financial planning post to keep you engaged in the process. All right, 627-7979 studio line. Tonight I'm talking about the 25 truths about money. Here we move on to compound interest is perhaps one of the greatest powerful forces in personal finance. It might be one of the most powerful forces in all of the world. I mean, it's not love, but compound interest, can make people love you if you know how to do it right. That's for sure. So compound interest, earning money on your money. So even if we keep it simple with basic bank accounts, everyone's familiar with most bank accounts, not all these days, pay some nominal amount of interest. And then if you leave that interest in your bank account, then you have a little bit more in your bank account. You have what you put in plus the interest. And then next month or next quarter, the bank adds more interest on top of the interest that they just gave you the last month or last quarter. And then they do it next month, and the month after that, and month after that. And so while you're sitting on the couch eating potato chips, Your money keeps just compounding, growing over time. And if you have enough of it, then the compounding gets really big. So keeping your money at work consistently for a long period of time and allowing the effects of compounding to work is one of the most easy and effortless ways to grow your net worth. It is, truly passive income. Just, real estate people like to say how real estate is passive income. That's one of the biggest jokes that's ever been created. Marketing schemes ever complete. Real estate is the opposite of passive income. But anyway, passive income is putting money in an account and watching the interest compound over time. And I will say, we are seeing some decent rates out of position traded money market funds. So what's a position traded money market fund? Well, it's a stable value account, so it doesn't decline in value, but it trades like a mutual fund. So you have to do something. Like most banks have money market funds, but they're a bank version of that, and they don't pay that great of interest rates in this environment. But for example, Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard each have their own house brands of money market mutual funds. And in those cases, we are seeing about 5% being paid out per year on those funds. And that's decent money in this environment that's stable valued. And while it's not 100% guaranteed, it's pretty darn close. It's like 99%. So compound that interest in a position traded money market fund for faster growth. Okay, emergency funds provide financial security. You bet they do. That's why we always recommend it as one of the first things you should do in building a strong financial foundation. Get that emergency fund built up so you don't have to go into bad credit card debt when you need car repairs or you have medical expenses or there's some other unforeseen life event that befalls you that requires a significant amount of money. Your emergency fund is that backstop. And it's also your security blanket for sleeping well at night, knowing that you have most of life's travails, financial travails, covered, especially one of the biggest ones, an unexpected job loss. So emergency funds provide financial security. They also don't provide much financial growth, and that's okay. That's not their primary purpose. It's okay to have your emergency fund. In fact, it's preferred to have your emergency fund in a bank account or a bank savings account. Not your checking account. Checking account's transactional. So at least get it into a savings account that you have to transfer money over from an app or something like that for your emergency fund. Okay, retirement planning is crucial for a comfortable future. And some key words there, planning and comfortable. Anyone can retire at any time you want, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a comfortable retirement. And most people in this country don't do retirement planning well, or they don't do it at all. And that's a shame. In one of the wealthiest countries on the planet, we are probably one of the least prepared for comfortable future retirements. Our consumer society, is a constant temptation to buy, to spend a bigger house, a nicer car, fancier clothes, more lavish vacations, live for today, worry about tomorrow later. Okay, you can. That's your choice. Most people make that choice. But eventually, the point comes in life where either you don't want to work anymore, or maybe you can't physically work anymore, or maybe someone else has decided that you're not going to work for them anymore. And so that will be the time that you're now going to have to live off your own savings and your own investments and a little bit of Social Security in order to live what is probably going to be another third of your life in a traditional form of retirement. So retirement planning is crucial for a comfortable future. And I guess I should say some of the retirement we're seeing today is morphing. In America, we we don't do life as well as I think Europeans do it. They are much more work and play at the same time. We're kind of like work, then play, 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 play. And I don't think that's really the best setup, but it is getting better where we're seeing semi-retirements, part-time work in early retirements, and a more relaxation of the retirement concept instead of just a hard break sitting on the porch, rocking back and forth, playing golf 3 times a week. That's not that healthy of a retirement. So anyway, retirement planning, crucial for a comfortable future. How about financial independence is freedom? Yes, it is. It's also power, control, security, and liberation. Financial independence is a lot of things, a lot of healthy, positive things if financial independence is used properly. But we have an expression in the industry that large wealth reveals character. So while having a lot of money or having the ability to have enough money to be financially independent, where you are depending on no other person for income or spending or assets, you have accumulated enough on your own to maintain and support your lifestyle. That's financial independence. Having that freedom, that power, and that control is very liberating, and it opens up a world of possibilities and options for you that most people will never experience because they don't desire financial independence. They prefer current consumption more than that, and that's okay. We are all free to make our own choices. But what we often see in this country is a resentment and a jealousy of people who are financially independent, who did the hard work, who sacrificed to live below their means to get to a comfortable place of financial independence. And then we just want to take from them. We want to tax them more, right? It's not fair that they have so much more money than us. And so the much maligned 1%ers, who make high levels of income. You know how hard it is, to be the CEO of a company? It's really, really, really hard. Or do you know how hard it is to start a small business and keep it afloat and make a profit to then hopefully have enough money to take care of your own retirement? It's really, really, really hard to do those things. And it takes a ton of discipline and a reasonable amount of intelligence and a bunch of hard work and massive amounts of intestinal fortitude to overcome risk, and you have to have grit and determination, and you can't give up, and you can't quit, and you keep pounding the rock. It's really hard to make a lot of money and to be successful. And so it's not for everybody. And everyone doesn't need to be a millionaire, to be happy in life. But for those that are, who want that, they deserve it. All right. Money is a tool, not a goal. That's true. Not enough just to have money. What the heck are you going to do with it? Money is a tool to enhance your quality of life. Something we say on the show. It's something we say to all our clients. We use money. We use our resources, all our financial resources, to harness the power of your money to enhance your quality of life. That's the real goal of money. Having more numbers in a bank account, on a bank statement, in a brokerage account, don't really mean a whole lot unless you can do something meaningful with that money. Such as giving can be more satisfying than receiving. That's absolutely true. Something that we see in our profession a lot. Those people who make a lot of money, those people who have a lot of money, tend to be some of the most generous people and the most giving people in this country as well. they're the ones who set up the foundations. They're the ones who donate for the wing to the hospital or the new building at the college. Those are the people who give the most money, the people who have the most money typically. All right, going to take one last break here. Going to be right back after these messages. 627-7979. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense, News Talk 790 WNIS.
Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president of Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, look us up online at wealthwayadvisors.com. Once there, you can request an information packet to find out what it's like to work with us, or sign up for a free quarterly newsletter at wealthwayadvisors.com. If you want to call the office, speak to a live human being about any questions that you hear from this show or anything you might have in your life, we'd be happy to answer those in person, 757-456-2200. Next live show will be in 2 weeks on Tuesday, August 27th at 6 p.m. as usual. But if you can't catch us live every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, get this show as a podcast. Search for Dollars in Common Sense wherever you get your podcasts. Download us, take us with you wherever you go, and listen at your convenience. All right, tonight, talking about the 25 truths about money, wrapping up the final 6 here. Needs and wants are not the same thing. Know the difference. You might think you need those pairs of those sexy pair of shoes. You might think you need that. I might need that $25 cigar and that $15 glass of bourbon, but I don't. I want the cigar and the bourbon. So know the difference between needs and wants. Be judicious with your wants early on, limit them, restrain them somewhat, and then you can reward yourself later in life when you are financially stable on a good financial foundation. We want our clients to enjoy the trappings of wealth. We want them to have a vacation home if that's important to them. We want them to have nice cars. We want them to take first-class trips to Europe for 3 weeks. We want them to experience those things, but responsibly. And that means building the financial foundation first, and then getting to a place of financial independence or close to it, where you can then spend that money guilt-free and enjoy the lifetime of hard work and sacrifice that you put into the financial planning process. Patience is a virtue in investing. Yes, it is. Everyone wants to get rich quick. It's not how it works. The faster you try to get money, or faster you try to earn money through investing, or the more risk you take investing, the more likely you are to walk away with none. Right? The more risk, the greater, or the more risk you accept, the greater the potential for loss. So something to be mindful of. Everyone says they want a lot of risk when you talk about it in general terms, until it actually happens, until they're seeing the value of their volatile investments decline precipitously. Then everyone changes their perception around risk. Credit scores matter. Yes, they do. Your credit report matters. And not just when it comes to personal finance. It's used in a lot of different areas. So certainly it's used for lending practices. If you have a low credit score and you have problems on your credit report because of past due bills or late payments or not paying certain bills, then it's going to be rough sledding. So lending, you're going to be denied from getting a car loan, mortgage. If you are approved, you're going to be subjected to higher rates of return, higher interest rates, because you're a greater risk. So check that credit score, know your credit report. You can look it up for free, annualcreditreport.com. That's annualcreditreport.com. You can check all 3 credit bureaus there, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Money secrets can ruin relationships. Yes, they do. Probably after infidelity, financial arguments or secrets are the leading cause of divorce. So one of the things we recommend to prevent that, 3 accounts: his account, her account, our account, or a joint account. Most all the household money goes into that joint account. Then you funnel out a little bit of allowance to each person's individual account that they have exclusive control over. So she wants to buy herself, 3 new dresses that look exactly the same with her own money. Do it. Okay? No fight, no argument. She gets hers, you get yours. You want to buy a bunch of parts for your motorcycle that you don't really need, that's okay. You can do it because you each have a little control over your own money. Most of the money goes in the family pot, and that's where all the bills are paid out of. That creates marital harmony and reduces the likelihood of anyone having to have money secrets. Okay, a couple more. Money decisions are often emotional, not logical. Yeah. I wasted a lot of time in undergrad, in my college undergrad finance classes, learning about rational actors and how people are rational decision makers when it comes to their own personal finance. No, not true at all. Most decisions are emotional, not logical at all. True wealth is not about money. It's about time, freedom, and health. That's true. True wealth is not about money. If you have time, you have freedom, and you have good health, then you are wealthy. And then finally, the last truism about money. Your quality of life is a better benchmark than the S&P 500. So don't worry about comparing your investments to the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial, trying to outperform them. What difference does it make? What does matter is how well your investments are performing to maintain your standard of living throughout your lifetime. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Be back in 2 weeks. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You've been listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.
The preceding program was sponsored